Jealousy means love, a popular trick with flowers among girls. This becomes a huge stress for Ukrainian couples. Welcome to the Ukrainian Eyes on America channel. Today I, Ukrainian Mary, will reveal the truth of us Ukrainians in relationships and talk about the three main problems in Ukrainian relationships. So, the first problem is that most Ukrainians are much more closed about discussing their sex life compared to Americans. Many feel ashamed to talk about it. When I grew up, I wondered why this was the case in Ukraine. It turned out that most people in Ukraine simply didn't have any sex education. As children, many heard, "You'll understand when you grow up," from adults when asking about sex. And such answers only raised more questions. But there was no one to ask. Parents found it uncomfortable to talk to their children about sex. So they often avoid the topic, thinking it was better for children to figure it out on their own later. In most Ukrainian schools, sex education is limited to a single biology lesson about the physiological differences between men and women, and that's it. We can only envy the American education system. So I know many stories of how children and teenagers found answers to their all questions on porn sites, from their parents' videotapes with adult movies, or from older friends. Nowadays, more and more young people are starting to talk about sex with their regular partners and discuss their experiences with friends, especially among girls. In 2021, a study was conducted on this topic in Ukraine. According to the results, 68% of Ukrainians already discuss what they like and don't like in sex with their partners. And this is a good indicator given the lack of sex education for most Ukrainians. The second common problem is jealousy. I know that in your culture, jealousy is seen as a sign of insecurity and distrust. But among many Ukrainians, the idea that jealousy is a sign of love is popular. Among Ukrainians, you can hear the phrase, "jealous means love." Yeah, many girls see it as caring. When a boyfriend, for example, doesn't let them hang out with friends of the opposite sex, explaining, "Maybe he's just worried about me, how caring he is." Even guys sometimes think it's normal if a girl checks his phone under the pretext, "She just values me, worries that I might leave her." Some girls even deliberately make their boyfriends jealous to show him that he has many rivals. For example, some girls use a popular trick where they buy flowers for themselves, post a picture with the flowers on Instagram, and write that some guy gave them to her. When her boyfriend sees this picture, he should start getting jealous and look for the one who gave her the flowers. Weird, right? The third problem that often bothers couples in Ukraine is parental interference. This is a common issue, and even if a couple doesn't live with their parents, they can still interfere in their children's relationships with advice, which sometimes becomes a huge stress. Parents often think they know better how to do and what to do, so they get involved in their children's relationships, giving unsolicited and often irrelevant advice. Sometimes, if a couple has problems and arguments, parents try to help and create even more problems. For example, a friend of mine has this situation. The couple had a fight over something minor, and the parents gave them their advice. They told the guy to wait until she texted him first, because you're not a hand-picked man to always apologize. Even when you're not at fault, let her apologize. And girl's parents told her to wait for him to text first. If he loves you, he should apologize first because he is a man. As a result of such advice, they had an even bigger fight, and then they broke up altogether. The influence of parents on their children's relationships is a very popular topic. So many Ukrainian TV series are based on this problem. You can often see jokes about the tense relationships between mothers-in-law and sons-in-law, mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law. In TV series, it's usually very funny. But in real life, it's not. As we often say, the meme is funny, but the situation is scary. I don't know much about relationships in America, so tell me in the comment what problems do you have?